Welcome to the Experts Podcast, where we take you behind the scenes of what it really means to be in the media. Featuring interviews with media-stable experts and some of Australia's prominent media. We'll break down some of the myths, the fears, the skills and the knowledge needed to succeed in the media. The Experts Podcast is for the business owner, communicator, PR professional, leader of industry, or anyone looking to develop their profile to be a recognised expert. The Experts Podcast is powered by MediaStable. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Experts Podcast. Nic Hayes here. Hello, Carmen.
Hi, good to see you, Nic.
Carmen Braidwood, confidence on camera.
That's me.
That is you. Always confident when we are working with a camera. Someone who's got a little bit of confidence there, Carms.
Yeah, you'll hear her before she walks in most rooms.
Oh, she's already giggling. She's in our ears already. Her name's
good.
Heidi Anderson. Heidi, welcome to the show.
Hello. I feel so privileged to sit here with you two. I've seen you guys all over social media and I thought, when are they going to invite me?
Oh, Heidi. Well,
and then here I am.
To be fair,
Thank
that is
God.
all Carmen, because Carmen works that beautifully. But
She did good. She did good.
I hope we haven't built it up too big, Carmen.
Oh, well, look, honestly, if there's a master at getting messages out there these days, it's you, Heidi, and we will talk about that. We
Yes.
will. But really, you're a media person, first and foremost, I would say.
I know.
Like Nic and myself, I often say, like, Nic's the business guy, I'm the media guy, but girl. But then I've turned into a business chick, and you've got the business thing more. You know, I'm
And now
I
he's
haven't-
kind of like doing the media thing.
That's right.
With podcasting. I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you hear what I'm saying? I didn't
Yeah.
describe it very well. But let's start with your media career. And I think a lot of people would be probably mistaken if they were to think it all started on Big Brother.
Yes.
Big Brother 10.
Big Brother on, what was it?
10. Was it number 10?
No, I actually don't know. Was it 2013? Not year 10.
Yeah, I thought it was the 10th
2000.
episode of it. But it was you were a shining light in that.
Well, I really loved it. It was one of the best things I've ever done, but it was also one of the hardest things I've ever done. So, are you going to move my mic here?
No, you go.
So yeah, it was pretty wild experience, but I did get into radio before Big Brother.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. And I think it's like, you know, because so many people in reality TV, then if they get a radio gig, you kind of I wanted to prove that, hey, I was doing radio first. Like,
I know it's
I got
a bit
it.
stigmatized, isn't it?
Yeah. Which I don't think it's a bad thing because there's a lot of talent that's come out of reality TV.
Yep.
But I do like to tell people that I did radio before Big Brother.
Yeah, and that was up at Newcastle, or you were already at Bunbury?
So I was in Bunbury. So I started my radio career in Warrnambool.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
I did
Yeah.
a really short stint there.
I
and-
used to be on radio in Warrnambool.
Did you?
Yeah.
On Coast FM?
Coast FM.
Oh my God. Were you the afternoons? I was the afternoons
I
gal.
was the breakfast announcer.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I know, right? Getting to know you properly now.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Did it happen to be the same year? You guys just didn't see each other.
I mean, I was desperate to do breakfast radio. So,
Yeah.
you know, when I got afternoons, I was pretty devastated. But coming out of radio school, because I went to the Australian Film Television Radio School, coming out, just getting a job I was pretty
It's
happy.
the best.
But I was dying to be on breakfast radio. So when I got offered Bunbury, which was about 9 weeks after Warrnambool, I was like, see ya, catch you guys. And they did everything for me to try and stay in Warrnambool. But yeah, so my radio career, I think the breakfast side of it started in Bunbury.
Amazing. And you probably didn't even know what Bunbury was when you got that job.
No. Do you know I'd never been to Western Australia? I didn't Google Bunbury. I got on a flight. I took the job. I got on a flight and then someone picked me up from the airport, drove me, 2.5 hours south. And I was like, wow, I grew up in Bathurst in New South Wales. And I was like, this is Bathurst, but with a beach. Full of cashed up bogans.
Yep.
And, that real small mentality. I love Bunbury, by the way. So if anyone's listening from Bunbury, I've also got a tattoo on my arse that says Hot FM. So
Really?
yeah, that was my radio career in Bunbury.
You've got Bunbury tattooed on you, and we were worried
blushing,
about.
Nic.
Well, you're worried about the bogans getting in there. Well, there we go. The bogans got out as well. Hey, Heidi, Will, and Woody. That was a big
Yes.
part of what you did.
You guys are taking me down memory lane today. And, I forget my career sometimes. So it is nice to be reminded. And, yeah, I came straight out of Big Brother and went into Perth 92.9 with Will and Woody. And we did 4 years and it was a ride.
It was. I mean, ratings good.
Yeah.
The dynamic there. Was it all roses or
No.
You conflicted
Fuck
at
no,
all?
I can swear, can't I?
You can.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
say
as-
whatever you like.
I mean, as Carmen knows, and the funny thing is, her and I probably haven't really sat down and gone too deep into what it's like to work with the men that we've worked with over time. But
And those two particularly were very close.
well, they're best friends.
Yeah.
So if they don't, for people who don't know, a quick shout out to Will and Woody. They obviously do the drive show around Australia now with Kiss and stuff. But, you know, we had a lot of respect for each other and a lot of love, but we also found it to be one of the most challenging times. And I've heard Will apparently has talked on podcasts since and stuff as well. We both had mental health challenges. We were both newly in a, you know, I'd just come out of Big Brother. So my profile was pretty wild. Like my social anxiety was high. We'd been thrown into this breakfast show at 92.9 to, you know, really make something of ourselves. And we're all they were so young. Like they'd never lived out of home before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I'd come out, done my time in the UK. I was really desperate to make my career, you know, and so I'd done my hard yards in Bunbury. And so it was really hard because sometimes we were just on different pages. So it was really, really fun, and we made epic radio. We also made really shit radio. And, you know, we like everyone else, we had to get through those really dark days of trying to get chemistry when maybe you didn't think you had it. And yeah, so we have a lot of respect for each other, but it was one of the hardest things. Yeah.
And then on to with Zave and Pete.
Yes, which was really quite small with Pete. So I think, well, Pete's not small, I don't know that, but
He's got
I mean,
a
he
lot
might be.
smaller.
He's lost
He's
some
lost
weight.
a lot
Look,
of
do
weight.
you know, I have not spoke to anyone since I've left.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, you know what it's like once you leave the bubble, and you leave the bubble and it's kind of popped, and I was a brand new mum, and, you know, I think once I'd gone down that road and they were all excited about this new dynamic in their show, you kind of feel a little bit like the outsider, and that's kind of how I felt.
Yep.
And then I haven't been back to any, like I kind of just went off to do my own thing and just kind of stayed in my lane of wanting to be a mum and doing my own things. And yeah, like, so it's weird to talk about radio now.
And we are a media podcast, so that's why we've kind of gone there.
But it's good. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk. So
But so became a mum.
became a mum.
Wonderful. Is it Memphis?
Yeah, Memphis.
Memphis.
Yeah.
And but when you say getting out of the bubble, because I think this is a really important thing for a lot of people with media, it's sometimes if you take a holiday, they suggest don't take a long holiday.
Yeah.
When you said that you felt that you were out of it,
Yeah.
is it because you felt that they've moved on without you, or that
Yeah.
you're like now not part of their vision or where they're going?
Well, I think it was more so like the team, right? And, you know, as a new mum, I'd already suffered anxiety, you know, and then sleep deprivation on top of that. So I started to get in my head a little bit, and, you know, you'd scroll social media and you'd see them having so much fun and doing all these things, and people are laughing at each other's jokes, and you just think, oh my God, like, who am I? I don't know who I am. And as a woman, and I think women who are listening to this, you know, you have this insane identity shift that we don't talk about enough. And so I started to spiral in the middle of the nights, going like, oh my God, like, do they even like me anymore? That kind of stuff, you know, going back to that, oh, I'm not good enough stuff. So not necessarily bosses or anything like that, but just in a team dynamic, I just started to feel like maybe I didn't fit in anymore. And that was hard, because I'm supposed to be so happy as this new mum, and I'm worried about this pressure that I'd put on myself to get to a certain place in my career. But the really crazy thing about it all is I would walk along the beach in the morning with Memphis, and that's still what we do to this day. We spend our mornings together, and we're walking along one day, and I said to hubby, I can't go back.
Really?
Like I said, my anxiety, since I'd switched off my phone, I stopped getting stuck in the, you know, the comparison loop, because that's just what I was doing. As a, you know, sleep deprivation, trying to breastfeed my little baby in the middle of the night, thinking like, oh my God, like, I'm just not good enough. Going back to that old Heidi who had no confidence. And, you know, we're walking along and I said, I just can't do it anymore. And then that was kind of when we got the ball rolling, and everything.
I just got tingles, you know.
Yeah.
I've said a few times on this podcast, I don't think I would have ever left my job.
Yeah.
It took me, you know, being sacked effectively to discover a whole new life, and I know now.
Yeah.
And even then, I knew that would still be okay. I didn't mind the idea of being sacked, but to walk away. And I know what you went through to get that job. I did a similar thing. We both started the same places.
Yeah.
You know, it's bloody hard, Heidi.
Yeah.
Even with a baby.
Yeah.
What did it really feel like to make that call?
Oh my God, it was the hardest. I've said hard a lot, but I'm working on the power of my language at the moment. This is hippie Heidi coming out. I've just come back from a silent retreat.
Oh, wow.
A silent retreat.
Silent retreat. Can you believe that?
How the hell did they get you silent?
It was actually so liberating, and I never thought I was going to talk again after the first day. I was like, I am so happy.
Just
in
for
this
the
bubble.
record, you were silent for a day?
4 days. Can you believe it? 4 days, no talking, no communicating.
And we're just doing the Experts podcast straight out of you coming out of that. Oh.
So I got a lot to say.
You do.
No, I'll be honest. I'm writing a book, and there's a chapter on the grief of radio, and this is why I think I reached out to you recently, Carmen, because like I said, it's something that I've been processing for the last 2 years. It's really hard to explain this to anyone, and I've said to hubby a few times, I never like to pedestal myself, and when people would call me a celebrity, I don't know, when they do the whole that used
Doesn't
to
feel
irk
right.
me a little bit because I'm just Heidi, I've always just been Heidi, and so when people pedestal you, you get used to that, I guess, and you get used to this life. And, there were perks that came with the breakfast radio job. I love performing. Like, you'll see me now. I love talking being back on the mic. Like, I just light up. So to have that and decide that you don't want to do that for now.
Yep.
I grieved.
Yeah.
Like, I have processed some really dark emotions. I've learned a lot about myself, even looking back at the Will and Woody days. Like, I fucking hated them when they'd left, because I felt like they disowned me, and, it was really hard. But we both had to grieve that. And then, I think it was 2 years later, Will and I reached out to him. He'd tried to reach out to me a couple of times, but I couldn't talk to him. And people don't understand this, but you put so much into something, and you just love everything that you do in that studio, and you build a really real bond with them that, I felt like really saddened by how it all kind of ended. They were fully respectful. We went and had a beer, and they told me everything that, happened. But I had to still process all that, even leaving from them being on, another radio show, and then having another couple of new guys in there. You still had to, there was stuff there like that I had to heal from. Yeah. And so as a new mom, starting a business, trying to be a great wife, trying to find myself again, it's been a ride. And like I said, that's one of the reasons why I reached out to Carmen.
All that identity gets wrapped up in the media gig. You really define who you are by it. And when it's suddenly not there, whether it's your own decision or someone else's, or it changes, like what happened in your case, you suddenly feel really alone. And I can imagine that only woman in the dynamic thing, I think, is also a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and I think having to decide and go through, and, I was upset at my decision, and then I loved my decision, and, all these things that I think sometimes it was easier just to cut myself off. And so that's kind of what I've done. And, I created my own program to kind of, I guess maybe there's a part of me through my healing journey to prove myself. And, from radio, you are put in such a box, and I didn't realize that until I'd left. And so for me, I've been searching for validation, through different ways that I've put myself out there and that kind of thing. So it's been a real, honest healing journey. That's why I went to the silent retreat recently.
Holy moly. Well,
it's huge.
Just give me 30 seconds. I'll get my words out now, and we'll return back to Heidi Anderson.
Was that like a little bit of a therapy session? I'll just take a break now, have an order.
Good. I think that people listening will relate to those moments of career pivot, right?
I totally agree. And I think that, for a lot of us, and I know that you think you are defined by your job, but the job is not. You define your job. You're the one that brings everything in there. You can be anything that you want to be. And I think for a lot of experts and commentators that we're talking to, you can hear the passion and energy in Heidi's voice and to everything that she's thrown into this. And I think, when you are communicating with media, do the same thing. You've got to throw everything into it because authentically you. Now, speaking of authentically you, holy moly! If you're not following Heidi Anderson Anderson on Instagram, that's the place to go away and check it out. But I love where you're heading. I love what you're doing.
Thank
it is
you.
authentically you.
Yeah.
You're doing something very different. Tell us about the programs and tell us. I think I saw your bottom on Instagram. Just
You
saying.
did see my bottom.
I saw your bottom.
Oh, look, Heidi's
You did a
never been
nudie run.
afraid to get a kit off. I
Did a
mean,
nudie run.
Well, you know what? I was at once upon a time. I was scared to get my kid off. And this is the thing. This is like the self-love journey of coming home to yourself and, you know, finding that authenticity within yourself. But the power of sharing that with women by taking my clothes off and being in my bra and undies has literally changed my life and other people's. So, yeah, I'm not afraid. Should I get them off now?
No. Well,
it is warm in here.
ladies,
Sorry.
it is a little warm in here.
I thought that was my cue. No,
Just got hotter as well, and we're on video here as well. So
Oh,
it's
no,
not.
hi.
It's not just an audio. Just saw me sweat there. But it is genuinely you.
Yeah.
And this has got to be a moment where you're really just demonstrating and showing everyone this is who I am.
Yeah.
It's very different marketing, different approach.
Yeah.
To getting the individual out.
Yeah, and you know what? I think having been in radio, I always thought I was myself, which I don't know, maybe you were the same, Carmen.
You do, yeah. But people are like, oh, I can hear your radio voice.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't have one. It's my voice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I know bosses and all that, they always used to say to me, oh, you know, we love your authenticity, Heidi, and everything. But it wasn't until I left that I was like, fuck, I was boxed in.
Yeah.
I was, and especially being on a show, we spoke about the shows, Heidi, Will and Woody, you know, Heidi, Xavier and Pete, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't fully allowed to be myself because they didn't always understand me, the co-hosts, and that was maybe why I'm not fully in touch with some of them now, because they never really enabled me to be 100% myself, you
Yeah.
know, and that's all I craved. That's all I craved, was to be seen and to be heard by my mates in the studio.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that, like I said, is through my healing journey, that's kind of come up in that now. And that's really hard when you've got bosses like critiquing you and, you know, oh, I wouldn't have laughed there, Heidi, or I wouldn't have done, like, that's the kind of shit sometimes you would hear. Like, it's,
And you were told often to be a certain way
Yeah.
because we were trying to create a whole product. So you had
Yeah.
roles to play
Yes.
within the team dynamic. And there was really only one role for a woman,
Yeah.
you know, and that
well,
I found frustrating.
a woman with two men, and that's
Yeah.
what I found. And you know, there were so many ways that I would try and make changes in the radio studio. And don't get me wrong, I worked with some incredible fucking awesome bosses and some awesome teams as well. But you know, there is work to be done in radio, you know, radio buildings, like with the way that they want these women to be front and center and to bring these women in.
Yeah.
But then they're also putting them in a dynamic of like, that's the thing right now, like one woman, two men. And it's, you know, and then they want you to be a certain way. And it's like, well, we want you to be you, but and there comes the list.
Well, it doesn't happen on the Experts podcast because we always have two women and one man. Now, on that,
Good answer.
I am fascinated by that because the thing is, and even just in employment, general employment, another industry,
Yeah.
we hire people for their personality. We hire them for their character.
Yeah.
We hire them for their authentic difference, their being who they are. And yet, so many times when you put them into the workplace, right, you will work these hours, you will work
Yes.
to this time,
Yeah,
you
true.
will say these things. This is the script we work with when we talk with our clients.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Well, you're the boss, right? We need to talk to you about that.
Well, no.
No.
If you think I'm the boss, you're crazy. I'm not the boss
you'd
of
be
anything.
a fun boss. No, why do we do that? And this is Carmen knows. We've had a taste of being outside the bubble, which I will definitely, like I said, get to my program because we totally sidetracked from that. But I was so
It's
passionate
all
about
right.
what
We've
we're
only
talking
got 12 minutes left.
Fuck. I've got to PR myself here. Got to get my program out there. But, you know, now I can't remember what I was saying. What was I
We're
saying?
talking about the
Bosses. And
Oh,
the-
yeah, bosses.
Why do we
I think,
expect
well,
people to change?
And this is why we've got a taste of being out on our own, where we define our own hours. We define who we want to be. And, you know, with this whole marketing and PR stuff, my greatest gift is empowering women to literally be themselves by me not giving a fuck. You know, don't get me wrong. I've been sensitive over the years. I still have moments where I am sensitive. I had to build quite a hard armor in the public eye, as Carmen would too. Even putting ourselves out here today and what we talk about. Not everyone's going to to like us, right?
Yeah.
But so you do build that armor. But, you know, I think in the workplace and what Carmen and I are experiencing in our own businesses and being able to do whatever the fuck we want and show up on socials and edit it how we want and talk how we want and swear as much as we want to, you know, it's a really beautiful gift that you can give someone, you know, and the world like is not, like, as you said, it's made for, and I hate to say it, it's made for the 9 to 5, which was so long, the man going out and doing the work while the woman stayed at home.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not there anymore.
That's it. And it didn't allow for the fact that a woman can be many different things.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, I know the guys I worked with will probably hear this and think, oh, well, it's all in your head. Well, maybe it is all in our head. But if you're going to work feeling that way every single day, it's going to change the way you show up.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that if the guys that you work with, if they listen to this, shout out to them. I always loved those guys and my friends were always fans of their show. So when I first started in Perth, I remember when I went to meet Carmen, Fitzy and Blackers and I was like, guys, I need to get a selfie with you for my mate who's fully obsessed. But that's what I love. That's the one thing that I loved about working in Perth and having my first, you know, capital city job in Perth was the camaraderie that we felt.
Mates.
Yeah, it was so nice. Like I remember one day I rang Carmen and I was like, "Oh, we're doing this stunt. Can we get on your radio show?" Like, and then we couldn't end up. The bosses wouldn't let us, but we got them on ours.
Yeah.
So I turned it round when I was being, you know, Will's PR agent for some DJ thing that he was doing, and so you know that was one thing that I loved. And I called everyone on the breakfast shows. You know, that was what was cool.
All right, we've got 10 minutes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Let's talk about your program.
Okay.
So your program's about to launch.
So it has launched.
It has launched.
Yep.
It's out there.
Yep.
What is it? Who is it for?
Yep.
And how do we get involved?
Okay, so it's called Memorable as Fuck Marketing. And
Sorry, say that name again.
Memorable as Fuck Marketing. Now, the reason why I put the swearing in it is so that people know I'm a swearer.
Right.
So you're not going to turn up to my program. If it was memorable marketing, that's not Heidi Anderson.
But
That's
I also
right.
think someone else has done memorable marketing.
Have they?
And it wasn't very memorable.
Yes.
But I can tell you what, I won't forget that one.
Exactly. You know, and it's the weeding process. You get the right clients in with you. So who are you looking for?
Well, so I'm looking for service-based people, online coaches, women who are so afraid to put themselves out there. They might already be starting to put themselves out there. They know who they want to talk to because I don't do niches or anything like that. Fuck that, that's boring. But I'm all about, like, you know, if you're struggling, how to talk to them. So I will show you how to make people feel. When you make people feel, they want to buy from you, right?
Yes.
It was the same thing that we did in radio.
Yeah.
So it's about connection. You know, our job when Carmen and I were speaking to 500,000 people or whatever it was every day on our radio shows.
Well, you guys might have, I don't know. About
well,
me.
I can't remember what it was now, but 500,000 sounds
good.
in Perth. I mean,
Why don't you just give
people.
yourself a mill?
Damn it, I should have just said 2 mil. Like when you're talking to 2 million people in Perth.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone. But you know, your job is to make them feel, whether that's sad, happy or whatever. Marketing is exactly the same. Ultimately, we were the marketers for the radio station as breakfast,
Correct.
as the breakfast show.
And this is your study as well.
This
you
is
did
my
a degree
study.
in this space,
I did,
right?
yeah, I did PR in Bathurst in CSU, and then I went and worked in London. But you know, everything that I did with building my own brand over those years of 10 years of breakfast radio, I teach now in my program, all my media experience, how to think big. But ultimately, the one thing that people miss is relationships. Oh. And, you know, and I'm sure you probably speak, you're
Talking
preaching to
our
the choir.
language.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, and this is the thing, like I build my relationships in my DMs, like on Instagram. That's how I sell my program. So I literally just launched my program with me giving birth to a laptop with Memorable as Fuck Marketing on it. But, you know, because I was like, as an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneur, I don't even know how to say it. Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. Can you guys have a go now, please?
Entrepreneur.
I just say business owner.
Okay, so I'm going to start calling myself an entrepreneur.
Please,
Okay.
and I hope you're not dealing with mumpreneurs and...
Well, I'm one of them too. I won Oz Mum. Hello, I won the award.
don't
Oz
roll your eyes.
Mumpreneur.
well, you're an entrepreneur. Just because you're a mum as well.
Well-
That's another whole other award.
Well, I won an award for Oz Mumpreneur. But
Well done,
anyway,
you.
Thank
well done, you.
Thank
Jeez, I
you.
just shot down that
Am
one.
I allowed to enter because I'm not a mum? Like,
Well,
I'm
no,
only
you're
a stepmum.
Yeah, but you're only
Step-mumpreneur.
Is
Mum.
that allowed?
I
Can
think
I
you
be
could.
a stepmumpreneur?
I think you could go in for Oz Mumpreneur. So I can't remember my point now, which happens regularly. And this is what I love about my coaching too, because I have brain farts as well. And, you know, I still show up. I'll still publish my videos if I'm having a brain fart in the middle of it.
But the people that are going to be wanting to do this program,
Yeah.
and I'm sort of capturing a the image of one who probably a little nervous, maybe isn't the real authentic, confident person that they think they can be. They might be a little bit, oh, you know what, I just don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
I need someone to come and tell me that I can, and I need them to give me the roadmap to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm your ultimate hype queen. So I just got off the phone to Ashy Jade, you know, who you've had her on here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And she was like, say hi to the guys for me. And she just posted on Instagram afterwards. She's like, I see why Heidi calls herself the hype queen. She's like, she just made me feel like I can achieve what I want to achieve just from a 15-minute conversation.
Awesome.
But that's what I do. Like, I believe in you. Like, that's one of the main things, I guess, you know, when you're buying a program, right, you can buy all the modules and all that, but you're ultimately buying the person's knowledge, their vibe, their energy, and, you know, them to be your cheerleader. And so I guess I want women to know that they can achieve anything they want. Like, I've had big things on my bucket list, was to go on Big Brother, to interview Robbie Williams, to have a breakfast radio show in Perth, like when I was working in Bunbury. And I achieved all those things.
Yeah,
because
a podcast into the stratosphere.
Yeah,
the minute you put it out, didn't you?
Yeah, and literally it was just on our iPhone. It was called First Time Parents. You can still go listen to it. It's unedited. Like, we didn't edit it as first time parents. We didn't have fucking time to edit no podcast. There was no jingles like you got jingles going on here.
I know, it's very fancy.
We got no fancy studio like this. Hubby and I recorded it in bed. Sometimes baby was on the boob, he was on the floor, he
Love
was
it.
whatever. But you know,
it's real.
It's real. And so that's what I want people to know. Like, they're their own biggest cock block. Yeah. And, you know, I should have bought my cock blocker. You know, and that's one of the things. So for me to be able to show up as myself, I guess I empower other people to do the same. And that's what most people need in their marketing. That's what most people need in their PR, you know. And so I show them how to do that through my methods that work. So, yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Isn't it?
Do you want to sign up?
Well, I was just going to say, you want Carmen sign up?
I want to know
can
how
blokes
it
sign up?
works.
Well, actually, Carmen's coming in as a guest speaker tomorrow, and she's going to be talking about on confidence.
Yes, on confidence and camera.
Maybe I'll learn how to speak by the next time I come back, because I'm coming back, right?
Well, yeah, you are.
Totally.
I don't think we could stop you.
I'll be at the door, guys. I'm back.
And I'll better make sure that Heidi comes and speaks on my program as well. So, look, whichever person you resonate with, you're going to get a bit of Heidi or you're going to get a bit of Carmen.
Well, but
they
need all of us. Like, this is the thing, and I'm all for this. And as I was speaking to one of my friends, Ashy, on the way here, I'm all for you getting little bits of advice from everyone. The reason why I have guests, exactly like why you would have on the podcast, is because you can take something away from everyone. I don't know everything. Yeah. I only know what I teach you from my experience, what's worked for me and what worked in my radio career to help me build a brand that was out there, that was thinking outside the box and that kind of thing.
Well, even every expert's podcast, I learned something. And
what did you learn today?
What is it?
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
No. It's what I love about you, Heidi, is that I've got the real Heidi.
Yeah.
And I'm getting, you know, the words, I'm getting the vision, I'm getting the energy that's there. And I almost feel like I could do just about anything. So I think you can do that, and you would do that a lot with the people that you're working with, because I think that they enjoy the entertainment, but it's also educational as well. And I think that would be that works well. And I think the other side of it is that, you know, a lot of people will sugarcoat a little bit of what they do just because they feel like they have to conform. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any conformity here.
Oh, no. Like I said, I think they tried to make me conform in radio, and I went there. But that's the thing, like, when you're not yourself, you know, you start to do crazy things in other areas where I used to drink too much and this and that because I wasn't being myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have, you know, I had chains on my wrists, you know, that's what it felt like. Whereas now no one's chained me. Just the hubby for Valentine's Day tonight.
Lucky girl. Woohoo. So that's it. The comparison from, you know, from being in an organisation. And I think you work with businesses, you know, you work with people who are their own brand, and there's something wonderful about being out there on your own that is freeing, that helps you be more creative than you've ever been, and more secure than you've ever been. Like, would you ever catch yourself sitting there spiraling down a comparisonitis tunnel?
No,
again?
not really that. But sometimes money is a little bit of a trigger, because obviously when you come from breakfast radio, you're paid well. Yeah. You're also, well, in a capital city, everywhere else in the country, no, regional's absolutely shit house. I think I made $45,000 in Bunbury, which is just ludicrous now, because I can make that in a month.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing, and that's what I can do with my team and stuff. I can make great money. But the thing is, when you paid by someone else, you know that when your wage is coming in. Whereas now it's kind of like, oh, I'm selling this, or oh no one's buying at the moment.
There
so
is
you
a tension. But money mindset can be so. I mean, Nic, you've got more experience in the business game than both of us.
Look,
how do you cope with that?
It's all cyclical. And you just got to get used to that idea.
Yeah.
And, look, at every start of the year for Media Stable is that we're almost guaranteed to lose the first couple of clients because things are probably not panning out the way that they were hoping to do.
Yeah.
But you don't stress about it because you also know that there's the first couple that are going to kick in that want to kick off in January.
Yeah.
So it actually frees it up. It's a bit sort of the even Stevens, it just evens out all the time.
Well, the way Heidi and I would probably both look at it is the universe kicks in at some stage. You know, where there's a gap, money just flows.
Yeah.
And I could never have said something like that on radio.
Oh my God.
I used to get told,
try.
Oh, God. Like, don't tell people you went on a boat on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You'll sound rich. It wasn't a very good boat. Doesn't matter.
I've actually heard you have to defend yourself on that.
Yeah,
I have seen that.
Oh,
but why is that?
Well, and this is the thing, they want you to be like the everyday person.
Right.
But then they'll give you all these rules and restrictions, and you would sit in meetings sometimes and be like, so who are we going to talk to? It's Sarah from Scarborough, and like you would build this character avatar as you do in kind of business. But sometimes it was so just not even close to the person that we are.
Yeah.
That's when it kind of used to, like I said, you'd kind of just want to break free. So, look, I love radio. I really do. And it's funny, I've really grieved it recently. Like just, I miss being in the studio. I missed, as you've seen me here on the mic, like I love talking to people in this kind of environment.
You're pretty good at it. You're pretty good at it.
Oh,
she's good, right?
And I'm just trying to, I'm the worst closer of a radio
do you want me to
interview.
close it?
I think you're going to need to.
Well, I think I was getting there.
Well, you were, and now I've just messed it up for you. See, worst closer. So why don't you close it off for us?
See, they would have dumped me there if I said, all the F-bombs that I have.
No, our producer will have to go back and
will
fix
he
all
beat
these.
me?
No, of course not. We don't.
Better bloody not. That's conforming.
We don't have the cash for a producer to go through all that. Hey, Heidi.
Oh, here he goes.
I want the program. If the people want to get involved in the program, how do they do it?
So slide into my DMs at _Heidi Anderson on Instagram. As I said, I don't have a website. I'm not professional. I don't wear blazers. I swear.
Sometimes run around nude.
Sometimes run around, which is some of my best marketing, and it's got me onto SBS. There's so many things I could sit here and
not always your right target audience, though, I dare say.
No, and it was more for my body positivity.
Gotcha.
Now I can't bloody speak because I'm hurrying myself up here because you told me I've got 10 minutes to
we
go.
need an hour.
I feel like I'm on radio again, guys.
Well,
You're bloody winding me up.
We're going to go to the news.
So slide into my DMs at _Heidi Anderson, and I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes.
We will certainly put it in the show notes. It'll be everywhere. Well done, Heidi Anderson.
Thank you.
Hey, real pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Very excited about this program because I sense that, Carmen, if you are interested and keen just to find that extra bit of energy, that little bit of, I'm not quite sure if it's me. I think this woman, Heidi, will take you there.
She will give you the energy. Like, you can actually be an energy sucker and take it from Heidi and use it for yourself. Someone like me, chronically ill, I need Heidis in my life.
I'm here, girl. You can suck me dry. Oh, that sounded really bad. That was Bathurst. I think we need to. Can we get the producer?
I might have to delete that one. Heidi Anderson, a real pleasure to have you here. Look forward to having Carmen back.
I'll be back.
I'm not going to lose composure. Another expert or another media. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to the Experts Podcast, powered by Media Stable. If you'd like to get in contact with the team, head to mediastable.com.au.